Hello, I'm Sarah Collins. Welcome back to Insight. If you've been following this series, you know we don't deal in doom and gloom for the sake of clicks. We deal in structural reality. We are sitting in 2026, and the financial landscape has shifted beneath our feet. For 20 years, we worried about the value of our dollar, inflation, purchasing power, and the deficit. Those are still valid concerns, but they've been eclipsed by a much more urgent question: access. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your account if the digital gatekeeper decides you shouldn't be allowed to spend it today. In today's deep dive, titled The Permissionless Pivot, we are looking at the invisible plumbing of the new economy. We're moving from a world where money was a tool you owned to a world where money is a service you are permitted to use. From the full rollout of ISO 2022 to the quiet convergence of your digital ID and your bank account, the walls are closing in on financial autonomy. This isn't a script for surrender. It's a blueprint for the sovereign toolkit. We must understand that in a digitized society, the ability to transact is the ability to exist. If a centralized authority can toggle your ability to buy fuel, food, or medicine based on a set of programmable variables, then your property rights are no longer absolute. They are conditional. This introduction serves as a final wake-up call before the systems we are discussing become fully integrated and irreversible. For years, we heard that central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, were the stuff of internet fringe theories. In 2026, they are the experimental reality. While the digital dollar is still navigating its final pilot phases, the infrastructure supporting it, specifically the ISO 2022 messaging standard, is now the global baseline. This is a clinical shift, not an emotional one. ISO 2022 isn't just a technical update for banks. It's a rich data messaging standard. In the old system, a bank transfer was effectively just a number moving from point A to point B. Under the new standard, every transaction carries a massive payload of metadata. It carries information on who you are, the precise nature of the purchase, and even the purpose of the payment. This is where the theory of programmability becomes a household reality. By using granular merchant category codes, or MCCs, financial institutions now have the technical capability to nudge behavior in real time. This is often framed as a tool for sustainability or public safety, but the mechanics remain the same: restriction. Imagine trying to book a flight for a family vacation, only to have your transaction declined because you've reached an arbitrary carbon threshold for the quarter. Or perhaps you're attempting to buy bulk emergency supplies, and you find the digital gate closed because the MCC for that specific category has been flagged for additional review. This isn't necessarily a total ban on spending. It is the introduction of targeted friction. By the time you call your bank to verify the purchase or provide the necessary justification, the window of opportunity is gone. Your money has been programmed with conditions that you did not agree to. We are moving toward a system where legal tender is replaced by authorized tender, and the difference between those two terms is the difference between freedom and permission. When money is programmable, it is no longer an asset. It is a policy tool. The real threat in 2026 isn't just the money itself, it's the digital identity it's attached to. We've seen a rapid convergence of know your customer laws and mobile banking apps that now require biometric check-ins as a standard security feature. The convenience is the bait, but the control is the hook. This leads us to the end of financial privacy as we knew it. Banks are no longer passive vaults where you store your labor. They have become active auditors of your lifestyle. Think back to the 401k audit we discussed in our fourth video. You can spend 30 years diligently saving, following every rule, and passing every IRS check with flying colors. But if the digital pipe to your funds is blocked because your digital ID has been flagged, those savings are effectively trapped. This flagging doesn't require a criminal conviction. In the new digital architecture, it can be triggered by a compliance inconsistency, a social media post deemed misleading by a partner agency, or an unapproved donation to a cause that has fallen out of favor. We are entering an era of continuous monitoring. When identity and access are fused into a single digital certificate, privacy is no longer a luxury. It is the only way to maintain a property right. Without privacy, every transaction is a testimony. If every cup of coffee, every book purchase, and every gallon of gas is recorded and weighted against a social or environmental score, the private individual ceases to exist. You become a data point in a managed economy. This is why the 401k and the brokerage account, while important for wealth building, are secondary concerns if you cannot guarantee that the digital gatekeeper will let you through the door when you need your money most. So, how do we pivot? If 2026 is the year of the gatekeeper, your goal is to find and build the backdoors. We call this the Sovereign Toolkit. It's about creating a hierarchy of access that does not rely on a single digital yes from a central authority. The first step in this toolkit is establishing a physical floor. You must maintain a meaningful percentage of your liquid net worth in physical form. This means physical gold and silver bullion. This isn't about investing in precious metals to get rich. It's about owning offline money. Bullion functions when the grid is down, when the bank's servers are undergoing a mandatory update, or when your specific account is under review. It is the ultimate permissionless asset because it requires no electricity and no third-party validation to hold value. Next, we must diversify the digital pipe through self-custody digital assets. If your Bitcoin or other assets are sitting on a centralized exchange, they are still behind a gate. You are still asking for permission. True self-custody involves moving those assets into a cold storage wallet where you and only you hold the private keys. In this scenario, you are your own bank. No one can unplug your access to those funds, regardless of what your digital ID says. Finally, we look at offshore light options. You don't need to be a high net worth individual to engage in jurisdictional arbitrage. There are still jurisdictions that value bank secrecy and offer digital residency that is decoupled from your primary domestic ID. By spreading your footprint across different legal environments, you ensure that a single regulatory hurdle in your home country doesn't result in a total financial blackout. We've spent too long thinking of privacy as something for people with something to hide. In the world of 2026, privacy is for people with something to protect. If you don't have privacy, you don't truly own your property. You are merely a tenant in your own bank account, subject to the whims of the landlord. The permissionless pivot isn't about breaking the law or hiding from society. It's about exercising your fundamental right to be independent of the machine. It is about ensuring that when you want to take care of your family, your ability to do so isn't subject to an algorithm's approval. Our mission here at Insight has always been to give you the tools to remain a participant in the world without being a prisoner of it. The systems of control are being built in broad daylight, but so are the systems of freedom. You have to choose which one you're going to rely on. Start building your toolkit today, while the exits are still open and the gatekeepers are still getting organized. The window for the permissionless pivot is narrowing, but for those who are paying attention, the path is clear. I'm Sarah Collins. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay sovereign.